We are the Fourth. We are South.
Welcome into the Friday Night Showdown, presented to you by Kaiser Permanente. We're here to get you ready for Game 1 of a 3-game set versus the Marlins. And guess what? The rain has cleared, and we are about to have baseball here at SunTrust Park after a postponement last night. Yes, we did see the Marlins just last weekend in Miami, but now the Braves get them here on their home turf for the first time in the 2018 season. After taking 3 or 4 of them in Miami, they'll look to do it again today as Matt Whistler gets the nod for the Braves. He will take on Dan Straley. We have Game 1 of the Marlins and Braves with Chip and Joe coming up next.
Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
It's turned out to be a perfect day to stroll inside the Battery Atlanta, and even better inside SunTrust Park, where sunny skies, 74 degrees greet us for Game 1 of our series with the Miami Marlins. We welcome you upstairs to the broadcast booth. Chip and Joe with you. Our perfect run of opens continues.
Yeah, it does.
Here on this homestand. And a big game for Atlanta. They were rained out with the Chicago Cubs yesterday. They've got Matt Whistler making a spot start, facing a Marlins club, Joe, that's in rebuild mode, and a chance for Atlanta to maintain first place in the Eastern Division race.
Well, for Matt Whistler, we saw him just come out of nowhere to show up and pitch in New York and pitch a brilliant ball game. No walks, 8 strikeouts, got the win. Had a week to think about the Cincinnati Reds, and he didn't pitch so well and had base runners all over the place. 3 walks, no strikeouts. So here he comes back tonight. Really kind of a start kind of sprung on him that I don't know that he had all that much time to prepare for it. I know he didn't get to Atlanta until this afternoon after joining the club from the Gwinnett road trip. But here he is. He's 1-0, a 3.75 ERA, 25 years old, 6'3", 215. Has not pitched well against the Miami Marlins in his career, but Tonight's a different story. Tonight is a start. His keys to the game tonight, presented by Ford, just like New York. And that has to do with base runners, which is the second key. Whip, walks, and hits to innings pitched. In New York, he only had 2 base runners in 7 innings. Against Cincinnati, 12 base runners in 5 innings. He's got to not allow hits and walks in the same inning. He's going to have base runners. Let that sinker and breaking ball do the work for him, get some ground balls.
And he's facing a Marlins club that might be a little angry, but also might be a little cold on offense. They were just shut out by the Dodgers in their homestand wrap-up. And Don Mattingly has shuffled his lineup since the last time we saw them. Remember, JT Realmuto was leading off for them. Well, Realmuto's now batting behind Martin Prado in the second slot. Starlin Castro third. Justin Bora, Braves killer, is their cleanup man. Anderson, Dietrich, Rojas, Brinson, and Dan Straley round out the starting 9 for Miami, which enters town with a 16-27 record. And Miami has already lost 12 of 18 games away from their home park.
And this starts a long stretch of road games for them. 16 of their next 19 are away from Marlins Park.
So we'll see what gives tonight as Martin Prado playing in his first game in SunTrust Park tonight. Prado was injured most of the season last year for Miami. He's batting 167, and Whistler's first is right there, a called strike. Jerry Meals has the plate. Martin leading off for Miami for the 4th time this season. Marlins are 2-1 in the first 3 games. He's batted first.
Good start.
0-2.
Good breaking ball. I'm kind of wondering if Don Mattingly did this more in an effort to get Martin going than to drop Realmuto down. Prado only 11 for 66, 1 extra base hit. It was a double.
Swing and a miss. Something off speed takes care of Prado, and Whistler 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and 1 out.
Looked like 3 different pitches too. Fastball, curveball, slider. And the slider got him, just took a little off.
I don't think there's any question, Joe, that Matt Whistler has the pitches to be a successful major league starting pitcher.
I don't either. I think he's got the stuff. Like we were talking about with Max Fried before last night's game was washed out.
Realmuto, the Miami catcher. 4 pitches, 4 strikes, 0-1. Realmuto hitting .313 for the year. If I was a betting man, I'd say he's going to be their all-star representative for the National League.
There are a lot of teams that would like him to be their representative.
Yeah, if you want to trade half your roster for him, you can probably have him. Terrific player who has also feasted against Braves pitching. Last 13 games against Atlanta, Realmuto has 20 hits. And is already off to a 5 for 18 start against Braves pitching. Those games down in Miami. 1-2 and sharply hit and over Freddie Gonzalez's head, foul. The count remains a ball and 2 strikes.
There might only be a handful of teams in the National League, not even that many, who don't need a catcher. You know, you think about the Cubs and Contreras and Molina when he's healthy with the Cardinals, Posey in San Francisco. I can't think of anybody else.
1-2 count. Well, the Nationals lost Matt Wieters. He had to have hamstring surgery. The Mets have had all kinds of catching problems.
They would, if they'd want to have a foot race with anybody.
Yeah.
If they thought they could get him.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And popped up toward right. Markakis will give chase and can't get there. And that's out of play. Word was this offseason that any teams approaching the Marlins for any of their top players, well, be prepared to give up your best prospect. I don't know who the Mets' best prospect would be, but find the Marlins and they say, we want Realmuto. The conversation for Don Mattingly, I would think, would be, okay, let's start with Syndergaard or DeGrom.
Yeah.
Which obviously wouldn't happen. The pitch. Full count.
Good fastball, though. just missed. 94.
That's Starlin Castro. He's batting third tonight. He waits next. And Real Muto takes ball 4. Only the 8th time he's walked. Matt got to 2 strikes, couldn't finish off the Marlins catcher. And now Castro hits with a man aboard in the first inning. Castro came back from the Yankees in the Giancarlo Stanton trade. The Yankees needed to, believe it or not, relieve some payroll pressure when they acquired Stanton. Yankees trying to stay under that luxury tax threshold so they can delve into free agency with both guns blazing next year if need be. The pitch is off the plate, ball 1 for Starlin Castro, a former Cub.
The Marlins, as you might suspect, are having all kinds of trouble. They are last in the league in runs scored. They are last in the league in home runs and in total bases. They're last in the league in ERA for their pitching staff.
And not surprisingly, they're in last in the National League East.
Correct.
The only team that has won fewer games than Miami is Cincinnati. The Reds have 15 victories. Miami has 16. The Dodgers and San Diego 17 each. One ball, one strike, one on, one out, first inning. And Castro took one right down Broadway.
Chip, they're in the top 5 in all the offensive categories. They're in the top 5 in only 2 categories. Hit by pitches and caught stealing.
Well, hey. that's something to hang your hat on.
I don't think that adds up to a lot of W's.
No. Bruises and bruised egos, maybe.
Yeah.
Yikes. But you know what? I will say this. Derek Jeter and his group that purchased the Marlins, I think had to do what they did this offseason. It was an unsustainable financial situation thrust on them by the previous ownership. And to their credit, they have explained, we're going to tear this down to the studs and rebuild it right. The only problem is it's been said so many times before that there's a very, shall we say, jaded fan base down in South Florida.
Yeah, they've heard it so many times. And once after they'd won a world championship.
That's piling up the pitches. He retired Prado on strikes on 3 of them. He's thrown 12 since and hasn't gotten another out. 1-2 count for Castro. And popped up right side. That's headed for the seats. A couple of things in play for Whistler tonight. You heard Brian and Jerome and Kelsey on Braves Live talk about it. Braves wanted a right-handed starting pitcher to face this Marlins lineup tonight. And pushing Sean Newcomb back another day gives him an extra day of rest. Something the Braves are going to do quite a bit this summer. Apparently the sabermetric numbers show that extra day of rest is extremely beneficial for a lot of major league pitchers and some on this staff. So if the numbers suggest that it's a positive, Brian Snitker's certainly willing to try it. So Newcomb gets the ball here tomorrow. Julio Teheran on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so long as they know what the schedule is and can adjust their routine to handle that.
And a swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch takes care of Castro. And a prolonged at bat ends with strikeout number 2 for Whistler, and Justin Boers coming up.
Another good slider. Well placed.
Justin Boer hitting .238, but 9 home runs this year. Boer is not just up there hacking away. He's been a patient hitter. Boer's already drawn 28 walks this year for Miami. And how much of that is them pitching around him? And how much of that is his real patience? 47 walks last year is his big league high. Heck, he might have that by mid-June.
No question.
And that's got an excellent breaking ball. 0-2. Bohr hit a long 3-run homer against the Braves down in Miami. It was a no doubt upper tank job into right field. The 0-2 is grounded foul past Perry Hill. The Miami first base coach will try it again. Pitch number 22 for Whistler here in the first inning coming up. Realmuto a short lead. And popped into the upper deck right back below us.
Ran that right in on his thumbs. Braves beat the Marlins 3 out of 4, as you know, down in Miami, but the one game they won was started by Dan Straley, who's pitching tonight.
Bohr didn't chase that. A ball and 2 strikes. Bohr out of George Mason University. And originally a Cub. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. The slider was electric for Whistler in the first inning. He struck out the side. Realmuto left stranded. The Braves go to work. Scoreless. The first inning.
And they'll do so against Dan Straley, 29 years old, 6'1", 220 out of Springfield, Oregon. Beat the Braves on May 11th with this line. Walked 3, gave up 3 hits, struck out 5. And he's had relatively good luck against the Braves. 7 starts. He's 3-2 lifetime. Only 1 road start for him so far this year. No record of 4.5 ERA. High 80s, low 90s slider and a changeup.
So the Atlanta starting lineup is pretty much standard for Brian Snitker. Jose Bautista gets another start against a right-handed pitcher. He bats in front of Johan Camargo on the Toyota lineup card. Ozzie Albies will lead off. Ozzie's riding a 3-game hitting streak. He's got 6 hits in those 3 games, and you know how productive he has been in the opening inning. An astounding .429 batting average with 14 runs scored. That's how you ignite an offense.
I don't know how you can do a better job than what he's done. Not just getting on, but giving them quick shots for early leads.
And Straley all of a sudden 3 balls, no strikes. The interesting note for Dan Straley, who did beat the Braves, more walks than strikeouts so far this year. And an astounding 23 hits and walks in 13 innings pitched. His first 2 starts went 4 innings. As Joe mentioned, 5 against the Braves in his last outing. And he just walked Albies to start the game. There's an encouraging start. Braves have been very productive in the first inning, not just Albies, but up and down the lineup.
Here's an interesting thing when you're working to Albies. I think it's getting around that he loves that first pitch of the ball game, first pitch fastball guy. So they're not giving him the first pitch fastball, but they're not giving him a strike either. And they fall behind the count. And then they don't want to come back with a fastball, and it goes to 2-0. And he's patient enough to take the walk.
That was going to be my next question. What maturity to not get over aggressive and want to hit to get on base. So he's aboard in front of Acuna, who lashes the first one out of play for a strike. Acuna's got his average back to 275, 4 homers, 8 RBIs, and he scored 14 runs in his first 20 big league games.
And he's just having a blast. You know, he torments Ozzie over there in the dugout, but he's having so much fun.
Again to first. It's always a challenge when you face the Marlins. You've got JT Realmuto, a terrific athlete behind the plate. Braves have been an excellent stolen base club this year. Albies has 6, and he's got a good lead and draws another throw.
Braves stole some bases on Realmuto down in Miami a couple of times as a result of wild throws that weren't on the bag.
Braves have 35 steals as a club, as this one's hammered towards center. Brinson on the run, turns the wrong way, but makes the catch on the track. And Acuna's retired for the first out. And here's Freddie Freeman. Freddie has torn up the Marlins already this year. He's got 9 hits in 15 at bats. 3 of those 9 hits are homers. He's knocked in 5 runs, and he's also walked 3 times. And Straley missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Same thing that applies to Albies, Joe, I guess applies to Freddie Freeman.
It does. It does. And started in with a backdoor slider. Wasn't close enough for Freddie to offer. 1-0. 1-0 the count.
That one's hooked toward right, and Anderson's going to catch it. Back to first is Albies, and Freeman's retired for the second out.
Freddie may have caught that one on the end of the bat a little bit. Another slider away.
So 2 outs after the leadoff walk. Nick Markakis is coming up. Nick batting .333 for the year, 7 home runs. And that one smoked toward left. That's going to get down in front of Dietrich, who plays it on a hop, and he got to it quickly. And he holds Ozzie Albies at second base after Markakis picks up a 2-out hit.
That was slicing back to Dietrich too. That helped him hold Albies at second base.
Markakis still leads the National League in hits. That's his 57th. He's second to Odubel Herrera in batting average.
And snaps an 0 for 8.
And so here come the Braves with 2 outs, something they've been very good at this year, scoring 2-out runs. And Tyler Flowers, the batter. And Straley's having trouble throwing strike 1. One thing we've noticed about Tyler is with runners in scoring position, he's been a very patient hitter. He's already got a couple of bases loaded walks this year that have brought home Atlanta runs.
1 against this team.
1-0 count. And ball 2.
Makes you a tough out, boy, because it doesn't give pitchers and catchers a real good idea of where they want to go to put you away if they get ahead in the count. Tyler's very comfortable hitting with 2 strikes.
Heck, this whole team is.
Yeah.
I think I've used the term a lot, and it sounds like a cliche, and I don't mean it to, but this team offensively just plays baseball. And in this day and age, it's so refreshing. Braves don't strike out. They score a lot of runs. They're hitting for power. They aren't over anxious in run scoring situations. All that adds up to a 26-16 start. 2-1 pitch. Down the right field line and curving into the stands, 2-2. Two years ago yesterday, that man debuted as the Atlanta manager, Brian Snitker. He has done remarkable work. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Almost made a big mistake with that changeup, but in off the plate enough that Tyler could only pull it foul.
Martin Prado near the line at third base as the 2-2 heads home, and a shot hit towards short. Nice play by Rojas. The throw to second in time will force Markakis. Braves threaten, can't break through in the first. We go to the second, scoreless.
Trust Park, and Dansby Swanson is back. Dansby is in the dugout today. We told you yesterday he went to rehab in Rome. He played 1 game and went 2 for 4. Now, he has not come off of the DL yet. We are expecting him to potentially come off of the DL tomorrow, and we could see him back here in the lineup tomorrow night for Game 2 versus the Marlins. So good news, Chip and Joe. You know, he is itching to get back on the field.
And it'll be nice to have him back. And I think, Joe, it's probably a wise decision for Dansby and the Braves to let whatever was ailing that left wrist calm down completely before it lingers on into the hot summer months here in 2018.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to see how he reacted after batting practice one day. Took a day off, then the next day you play a game, take a day off, see how it keeps bouncing back.
So we'll know more about Dansby's fate tomorrow. Here's Brian Anderson leading off the Marlins second tonight. This guy's a nice looking player. We saw him debut at third base last year. But with the Marlins cleaning house in their outfield by necessity, Anderson's become their right fielder.
He was only 3 for 14 in that series in Miami. But he hit a lot of balls hard at people, and he did not strike out once.
And we were both amazed at the great throw he made from right field to third base down at Marlins Park. It was, I'm going to say, Dave Parker-like, but it was on the fly and on the money.
I think that was Freddie Freeman he threw out.
So Whistler behind in the count, 2-1 to Anderson, and called a strike, 2-2.
Good slider so far for Matt.
If it's working, go to it again. Oh, just missed. Derek Dietrich is next. Sharply hit and past Bautista. And Brian Anderson has the first Miami hit. A leadoff single here in the second inning. So that's 12 out of 13 games on the road for Anderson with a hit this year for the Marlins.
And like I said, down in Miami, that 3 for 14 was a lot lighter than it should have been.
Dietrich at 248. And that's fouled off Tyler Flowers' glove. Gotta wonder with Derek Dietrich, is his move to the outfield affecting what he can do at the plate? One reason why that average and on base is so low, he hasn't made much contact at the plate. 39 strikeouts for Dietrich.
And he's better than that.
And only 4 walks.
He's a good offensive player. I've always thought, for a second baseman especially, he put up good numbers offensively.
Out over the screen quickly. 0-2.
For Matt Whistler, the disappointment for him, I'm sure, was after pitching that great game in New York. He had a very subpar game in Cincinnati. He got sent back, and he had similar results there. He had a good start, and he got a win. Gave up 1 run, no walks against Indianapolis, and then next start against Norfolk, he went 7 innings again, but 7 hits and 2 walks, and took a loss.
Little pop to the shortstop. That's easy. Dietrich's retired, 1 out.
So I think, and I spoke to Matt briefly when he was up here for those 2 starts, that after the New York game, do it again. You know, see if you can come close to matching what you did again, and it had to do with consistency, and he said that's what I'm working real hard on.
Is it fair to say Matt is not a young pitcher anymore as far as his big league career is concerned? He hasn't been here to make 30 starts in 3 or 4 consecutive seasons, Joe, but he'll have, as you said, that one-off terrific game, and then you wonder why there's just not that 3-4 start run where he's real effective.
You know how many, what the number is tonight for his big league starts? 49. Now that's spread out over several years since the Braves got him. This is his 49th big league start. He is not a kid in those terms anymore. He's still only 25, but he's had some experience. And granted, the last 2 years especially, those starts have been very sporadic.
Down the right field line, that is just foul off the bat of Miguel Rojas. And so my inelegant way of asking is, at this level for this team, for any major league pitching coach, it's that consistency that you want to see. You want a reliable guy that you know or have a pretty good idea of what you're going to get every fifth day. And I don't think we can say that about Matt.
I agree 100% that it's just a matter of stringing some good starts together so that the confidence level not only returns for him, but for the staff as well, to know what they're going to get or what they can expect. And he knows that. He'd be the first to tell you that. But you go to that age-old question, well, I can't get consistent unless I get some consistent starts.
The old chicken and egg argument.
Yes.
Right. 1 ball, 1 strike for Rojas. Batting .253 on the year. And that's bounced towards short. Might be 2. Ozzie the turn. It is 2. Whistler gives up the leadoff hit, but Rojas and the Marlins are doubled up.
Internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
2 scoreless innings for Matt Whistler in his spot start tonight in Atlanta. No score. Braves coming up in their half of the inning. Inciarte, Bautista, and Camargo the first 3 to face Miami right-hander Dan Straley. Ender's on a nice roll. He's 11 for his last 32 at the plate. That's a .344 average. His average up for the year to .264. Ender's batted first. He's batted 9th. He's settled in very nicely in this 6th spot for Brian Snitker. And one of the reasons for that is he really likes Ender's speed, his ability to run, something he doesn't really want the Braves to do in front of Freddie Freeman, because obviously Freddie can hit a 2-run or 3-run homer. But down to the bottom of the order, if he can get aboard, Ender can run like the Dickens, but not this time as he strikes out to start the inning.
That was a pretty good 3-pitch sequence of his own from Straley. Fastball on the outside corner, breaking ball, and came back with a good heater. Right at Real Muto.
Jose Bautista is 5 for 32 at the plate. Popped up by the Marlins on deck circle and well into the seats, and it's 2-1 for the Braves third baseman. It'll be interesting to see what roster move the Braves make if Dansby's activated tomorrow. First, the 2-1 pitch. Oak splits the plate, 2-2.
Depends on what they decide to do with Matt Whistler. If this is just a one start spot.
Jose held up, full count. Bautista, Camargo, Dansby Swanson, Charlie Culberson, Ryan Flaherty all play on the left side of the diamond. That's a very crowded situation for the Braves. We'll see how it works itself out. Straley ready with his 3-2 pitch, and gets Tapper right back to the top of the mound. And Bautista's retired, 2 up, 2 down in the Braves second. Camargo will be the hitter.
Time to get Johan going. He's certainly one of the guys that's part of that mix over on the left side. But a 193 average, way off of his feed. Hitting 229 left-handed.
And a generous strike for Camargo. 0-1 the count. That's smoked into right field. Anderson's not going to get that. He cut it off, but is on the track. Johan's going to try for 2. There's the strong arm. The throw is late. Camargo somehow held the bag as he tumbled to the third base side of second base. A risky play, but he made it. A 2-out double.
What a great throw again by Anderson. I'm just glad Camargo's not hurt. It was like a 3-point landing when he went into second base. Stop and throw. Long, just a little off the bag, and somehow Johan held on to the base. He bounced getting there.
And the Marlins are going to challenge this call. You saw the left hand touch the base. The right hand is what Camargo held with, and the tag was kept on the body of Camargo by Rojas, and the Marlins are going to challenge this call, see if Johan came off while the tag was applied.
He pulled the right hand back, avoid the tag. Now then, his hands, both hands.
Yeah, he came off.
Yeah, he did.
So smart play by Rojas. All the middle infielders around baseball are being taught now, keep that tag on in case somebody comes off the bag for a split second, because with replay.
I was just watching Camargo. He was kind of windmilling his left arm, and Johan smiling. I think he knows what's about to happen.
Yep, he came off the bag, so Camargo is out after he came off the bag trying to stretch a long single into a double. Julian Gressel and Atlanta United are sitting on top of the Eastern Conference in the MLS. And Sunday on FS1, you can catch the Five Stripes in a big match against the New York Red Bulls. Then Wednesday, May 30th, the team's back in action against the New England Revolution here on Fox Sports South. There you see the upcoming telecasts, and of course, all of our Fox Sports properties stream live on Fox Sports Go. So Matt Whistler got a double play ball to end the second inning, goes out for inning number 3. Brinson, Straley, and Prado the first 3.
Lewis still scuffling. Hasn't really picked it up since we last saw them last weekend. He's hitting 168. 53 strikeouts and 143 at bats.
That's not going to work up here.
No, but I guess if you're in a rebuild mode and you have committed to this, they gave up Christian Yelich for Brinson and others. You got to find out. You got to let them learn the hard way, I guess.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Brinson struck out 4 times in 16 at bats against the Braves down in Miami. He bats in front of Straley here in the top of the 3rd. Pitch is shot towards center. Ender runs to the track and tracked it down perfectly. Brinson hit that ball hard, but to the deepest part of the park.
This is what I love about what Ender can do, and I talk about this a lot with an outfielder, about having to run to a spot where you think the ball is going to come down if it's hit over your head. That's what he did here. He turned his back on the ball and on the infield and ran to a spot. No drifting, no backpedaling, got there and made the catch.
And Joe, that probably had a route efficiency of 97.6%.
I can't wait to see.
Straley
Yeah.
stands in with 1 out. I understand the route efficiency thing, but if the guy catches the ball, does it really matter? Shouldn't it be 100%?
He made a catch over the fence to rob a player of a home run earlier this year, and it was rated at 53%. No, it was higher than that. It was like he should have caught it like 9 out of 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
It was nuts.
One ball, 2 strikes. Well, according to StatCast, the catch probability for Ender on that play was 99%.
It's because it stayed in the park.
Right. With my partner, the chairman of Common Sense, Joe Simpson. No score after 2. Pitch is cut on a miss by Straley. Whistler has 4 strikeouts to start the night. He's going back to the top of the order now, and Martin Prado. Matt struck out 8 Mets on April 19th. 10 strikeouts is his career high. That was back in August of 2016 against the Padres. He struck out Martin on 3 pitches to start the night. How popular was Martin Prado in his days as an Atlanta Brave? Well, when Chipper Jones had his number retired here in Atlanta, one of the comments he made was that Martin Prado was his all-time favorite teammate. Think about that. And this one's lifted toward left. Acuna is there. His catch probability 100%. 3 up, 3 down. Whistler has a perfect 3rd. He'll lead off the home half. No score. Home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, which allows you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.tv for all the details.
Going to have to get those girls in sync, you know. They're chopping.
Yeah.
They got the chop working. They're all in different sync somehow.
Now, Brian Woodrum is our producer. Brian has triplets. And he just said he thinks those girls might be triplets. If anybody would know, it'd be Brian.
Good chance.
And strike three takes care of Whistler. Straley's got his second strikeout, and Atlanta goes back to the top of the order. Ozzie Albies. Albies walked and was left stranded in the first inning. Albies with 17 multi-hit games this year. 13 homers, 31 driven in. And he did go after the first pitch that time, but might have had a wrinkle in it. Strike one. That's the other thing that makes this Braves offense so difficult to pitch to. 1 through 8, everybody can ambush a first pitch. 1 through 8, everyone has very good bat control. So you throw a first pitch strike at your own peril.
That's a good point. You're not sure how to start hitters, especially with runners on base. You want to get ahead in the count, but it's got to be a particular pitch. It's got to be in a good spot.
Albies off to an MVP caliber start, leading off for Atlanta at second base.
40 runs already. This is the 44th game.
That's a good pace. 1-2. Stays high from Straley. This guy's had some good luck in the big leagues. He's had 3 double-digit victory years as a major league pitcher. 10-game winner in 2013 with Oakland. Won 14 games for the Reds 2 years ago. 10 games with Miami last year. And he just struck out Albies. Up and away. Back-to-back strikeouts, 3 of them tonight. And 2 quick outs. I mean, he knows how to pitch. You win 14 games in your home park as Cincinnati, and for a Reds team that quite frankly has been pretty bad for a couple of years, tells you this guy knows how to pitch.
He does. And that number you told earlier about walks and strikeouts, more walks and strikeouts, that's highly unusual for him, and he's quickly rectifying it.
Acuna didn't get it. Swing and a miss. Acuna flied to deep center in the first. Straley came from the Reds for right-handed pitcher Luis Castillo, right-handed pitcher Austin Bryce, and outfielder Isaiah White in January of 2017. You might recall he was with the San Diego organization and they just waived him. He was there for the taking, and the Reds got him and got 14 wins out of him in 2016.
That's a pretty good pickup. And a late draft pick too. 24th round pick by Oakland in 09.
He was part of the Addison Russell deal that sent Russell from Oakland to Chicago. Then Straley went from Chicago to Houston for Dexter Fowler in 2015. And now here he is with the Marlins. 2-2. Banged foul into the Miami dugout. They really need Straley to stay healthy and pitch well, because again, if he has a nice run before the trade deadline, he might be a guy that brings him a prospect back, and that's something else the Marlins will be looking for as they try to build up their farm system again. But he gave him a scare this spring when he got hurt, and is only now starting to round into form here in mid-May. He's only making his 4th start. He's 1-0 on the year. The payoff again to center. Brinson again going back. Again turned awkwardly, but made the play on the track. And Acuna has flied out to center for the second straight time. 3 up, 3 down in the Atlanta third.
By your local Ford dealer and the Georgia Lottery.
No blasts, and of course there's only one blooper here at SunTrust Park. The lovable new Braves mascot entertaining the fans and players alike as we're through 3 scoreless here in game 1 with Miami on what's turned out to be a perfect Friday night.
It's a pretty sky, isn't it?
JT Realmuto gets things started for Miami. He walked in the first. Took outside, ball 1.
Surprised more teams haven't tried that on Bautista. He hasn't played third base in 10 years.
One ball, one strike. Reds had an excellent breaking ball from the very first pitch of the game. 4 strikeouts for him. He's allowed 1 hit. Little roller. Whistler pounced off the mound. Bare hand throw, and he got a fast runner. Good play.
That was a good play because he didn't panic. Barehanded it, stood up and fired. Made sure he had it. And had something on the throw to get him.
So the leadoff man down for Miami. Here's Starlin Castro, who struck out in the first. Had a long at bat before chased a pitch well off the plate. High, I guess. 1 ball, no strikes. To center, and Ender will charge in a step or 2. Castro is the second out.
Hey Chip, tell everybody about the Yankees, for those that didn't hear about the Yankees and what happened to them after their rainout the other night.
Yeah, they were in Washington and they were supposed to play the Nationals. They had a suspended game and then their regularly scheduled game. They had bad weather in Washington and the game was canceled, and there was a crunch on hotel rooms in Washington. So the Yankees decided, okay, we're going to go get to the airport, and they decided to either sleep in the airport gate area or on their plane before
because they couldn't leave.
They couldn't leave. The airport was shut down. Bad weather as Bohr smokes one to right and is aboard with a 2-out single. So the big bad New York Yankees were stuck in the airport and had to sleep on the plane or at the airline gate before they were able to get on their plane at 12 or at 9:30 in the morning the next day.
They were essentially homeless.
Yes, they were.
Poor things. But I mean, that is rough.
Right?
Bohr got one up a little bit in the zone there.
Imagine the bad backs.
I've never heard of that happening before.
Yeah, I mean, and it was totally beyond anybody's control, obviously, with the weather and all the sold out hotel rooms in Washington. We'll see how the Yankees fare. They're in Kansas City playing the Royals tonight. Braves have the Yankees on their schedule. We will play in the Bronx over the 4th of July holiday. That'll be fun. And a tough road trip. Cardinals, Yankees, and Brewers. That's at the end of June and the first week of July. That's hit toward short. Easy play. And the flip to second retires the side. Matt Whistler's got 4 shutout innings under his belt. Let's see if the Braves can break through. No score. And Freddie Freeman leads off. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot.
Love this. Slugging percentage against the shift since 2016. Freddie's at the top of the list.
Which leads me to ask you a very simple question. Why do teams still shift on him? I mean, it cost the Cubs a run the other day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Joe Posnanski, who's a terrific baseball writer, had a story on that very subject today. Freddie Freeman has a weighted on base average against the shift of 424. The major league average in that category is 320. So he's hitting 120 points higher weighted than league average against the shift, and teams still shift against him. That's part of the computer program, I think, that needs to be reevaluated.
They don't account for the line shots that go through everybody.
And Straley just walked him on 4 pitches. That was the other question he had in that game against the Cubs. They played the infield in against Freddie, and he whistled a single that scored a run, and then just kind of slapped one down the third base line to bring in another.
Yeah, he was up with Albies at first. Albies tried to steal and he fouled the ball off. I don't think Freddie was too happy about it because he'd rather Albies just stay put because he had all that room on the left side. And on the next pitch, he bounced a little 20 hopper through the left side for a hit.
Markakis had a base hit his first time up. And that's what makes Freddie so tough. Even if you play him straight up, the odds are really against you because he can put the ball wherever he wants. But he says it all the time, up the middle or right over the shortstop hit is his happy zone. And that's usually the vacant spot on the infield. Australia never gave him a chance to do anything here in the fourth inning. He walked him on 4 pitches. Nick broke out of his horrific slump, which was 0 for 8 with a base hit in the first inning. And he tried to dump one into right, and a nice catch by the ball boy, but it's 0-2. Oh! Hopefully somebody will bring. There we go. All right. Don't throw it back. Nicely done. Line drive into right center field. That's going to get down. Brinson to his left. Can't stop Freeman from going to third. Nick's on his way to second. A hustle double. And the Braves are in business in the fourth inning. Second and third with nobody out.
These guys at the top 4 in the order for the Braves have been doing unbelievable work. The 2 guys hitting third and fourth, amazing work. Slider stayed over the middle of the plate. Didn't get it down and in like he wanted. And you can't make a mistake to Nick Markakis.
So a fly ball could mean a run for Atlanta. Tyler Flowers hoping for more than that. Great chance for Atlanta. Rays have hit a bit of a cold spell with runners in scoring position over their last 3 games. And that missed up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Counting tonight, Braves are 3 for their last 24. With a man at second or third base at the plate. And here's patient Tyler Flowers again, ball 2. And now Real Muto out for a quick chat. Braves clobbered the Marlins down in South Florida, winning 3 out of 4 games. They scored 26 runs and hit 8 homers.
That's pretty good work in that ballpark.
Let's see if SunTrust Park is as friendly for the Braves in this 3-game series, which continues over the weekend. Two balls, no strikes. Second time through the order, a little more exciting for the Braves offense against Straley. Does he have a green light? Thought it was ball 4. Might have been.
He's checking with Jerry Meals because it sure looked out and was, but he'll get another pitch or 2 to take a hack at.
3 balls, 1 strike. Popped him up. And Brinson can't find it. Backpedaling is Castro. He makes the play. Freeman comes halfway and has to slam on the brakes. Wow, Anderson saved Brinson and Starlin Castro. Brinson never saw it in the high sky, and that could have been disastrous for the Marlins.
It's not too often that a second baseman's got to go out that far to make a catch. Good, but he saw this from Brinson. Anderson slipping and falling, trying to stay out of the way. And a nice job by Castro to save a run.
And now Miami will walk in Ciarte intentionally, and they will load the bases in front of Jose Bautista. Bautista tapped back to the mound in the second inning. Tapper foul and strike one.
A little over anxious.
Second time Jose's come up with the bases loaded for Atlanta. He struck out the first time. The 0-1 pitch from Straley is pulled foul. And now it's 0-2.
This is where you're beginning to feel comfortable if you're Straley and Don Mattingly after walking in Ciarte. You think, okay, we got ahead in the count like we wanted to. We've got a couple of pitches here we can mess around with and see if Bautista will expand his zone. It's like they want to go upstairs.
That's a little too high.
And tight. So did that set up the next pitch?
We're about to find out. 1 ball, 2 strikes, bases loaded. Pitch. Swing and a miss.
Went right back upstairs.
So that's a big second out for Straley, but now he's got to deal with Camargo, who singled his first time up. Braves had him second and third, nobody out. Now they're loaded and 2 outs. See how Johan has done with the bases loaded this year. He's 0 for 1. But he's hitting .364 with runners in scoring position. 4 for 11. Braves could use a 2-out hit. And that one a pitcher's pitch for a strike.
Yeah, we need a big one here. Straley got a good call from Meals on the 3-0 pitch to Flowers. He just got another good call on that pitch to start this at bat.
Tried the same spot but didn't get it there. Even count. Lots of rain everywhere in the National League again. The Dodgers and Nationals were already rained out. Nationals have not finished a game since Sunday. So those are going to pile up for Washington. Phillies are supposed to play in St. Louis. That one delayed due to rain. The pitch. Ball 2. Back this year we've had 34 postponements due to weather. So far this season there were 39 total last year.
Goodness. Big pitch right here for Johan. Make sure it's a good pitch to hit. Something you can drive.
It is driven toward center. Brinson though slowing and gets there, and that retires the side. Some magic from Dan Straley. Second and third, not out. Braves can't break through. In from our Xfinity cam. Pretty panoramic view as we push in from right field toward home plate.
Another good Friday night crowd. It's been a good homestand. Too bad the last night got washed out.
But that game will be made up on August the 30th against the Cubs. Braves will be home in the middle of a Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh series. So hope you'll consider joining us for that one. And a tip of the cap to the Braves last night. I thought they did an excellent job of keeping the fans informed of the weather conditions. And they tried like crazy to get the game in, but Mother Nature just wouldn't cooperate. So we'll make it up in late August.
Made the right call, too, it appeared, after it just kept raining.
So Matt Whistler still scoreless, has Dietrich, Rojas, and Brinson coming up. And Dietrich takes downstairs, ball 2. Joe's Ford keys just like New York, and whip. Walks, hits per inning pitched. I'm guessing you're pleased at what Matt's done through his first 4 so far in that regard.
I am, and I don't even count. You know, there's other guys in the dugout that are really enjoying watching this again. 2 hits, 1 walk.
Popped him up. And Ozzie at second base says he's got it, and he does. Well, Whistler's start tonight, another in a long line of excellent performances out of the Braves starting staff. Last 9 games coming into play tonight. Atlanta's given up 12 earned runs in those games, a 2.17 ERA. And the starting staff has given up no earned runs in 5 of those 9 games. So Whistler's trying to make it 6 out of 10. And he's got the first out for Miami in the 5th inning. Here's Rojas. He hit into a double play that ended the second.
Braves are playing him very straight away. Ender's shading him over toward right center. And the Braves have detailed scouting reports and video on opponents, but it just seems to me that Rojas hits a ball to right field a lot against Atlanta. Seems like he did down in Miami anyway. And might try to do the same thing here behind in the count.
Slider's been his out pitch tonight. And Rojas didn't offer there. 1-2.
Good place, though. Another good spot. He's missing, while he's ahead in the count, but he's missing to good places.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Oh, wow. Flowers came out of the chute ready to throw that ball to third base. And now, you know, he's chatting with Jerry Meals.
Yeah, there was a lot of bouncing and jumping from the pitcher and the catcher. What's wrong with that?
I guess it sounded like a ball. 3-2 though for Rojas. Brinson's on deck. And headed down the line, foul. Mets are leading Arizona tonight 3-0. That game's at Citi Field. Boy, the Diamondbacks have gone ice cold all of a sudden.
Every time they lose A.J. Pollock, they have a hard time regrouping. Paul Goldschmidt's been cold too.
It was a big Arizona lead out west. Now is only a game and a half over Colorado. 3-2 pitch. Again foul. Zach Godley and Jacob deGrom are the hurlers in New York. Diamondbacks have lost 7 of their last 8 games and have scored 2 runs or less in 7 of those games. That is not like Arizona offensively.
No. deGrom probably made the Mets feel a little better. He struck out the side in the first inning, so he appears to be okay.
This is his second start back from hyperextending his elbow against Atlanta, and that's a tough walk for Whistler. Got ahead of Rojas, didn't get a pitcher's pitch for strike 3, instead issues ball 4, and Brinson's up with a man aboard and 1 out.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Whistler.
Brinson flat out to center, so he's 0 for 1. One ball, no strikes. No runs, 2 hits for the Marlins. No runs, 3 hits for the Braves. Atlanta had a golden chance in the 4th. Second and third, nobody out. Couldn't push across a run with Flowers, Inciarte, Bautista, and Camargo coming up. Runner goes. Pitch a ball. The throw to second is on the money and in time. Nice play by Albies to catch it and tag Rojas. He's caught trying to steal for the first time this year, and that's out number 2.
Don Mattingly's got his arm out. He wants to have his crew check the replay.
Well, Rojas is already to the third base line, and I think he's out.
He got him on the hip and then just kept following him with the glove. No replay. Nice throw by Tyler. Quick release.
Second man Tyler's caught trying to steal a bag this year. The pitch. He is downstairs, ball 3. I'll walk this guy. You'd love to start the 6th inning with a pitcher who's on deck. Brinson does not walk much, only 7 times. That's chopped toward third. Batista's got it. Fast runner, but out by a step. And Whistler is out of the 5th inning. Still scoreless. He's coming up first.
May is Military Appreciation Month, and as part of Coors Light Military Salute, the Braves, a bunch of alumni, Andrew Jones, Marvin Freeman, and others, and a bunch of current players went up to Dobbins Air Force Base to interact with the servicemen and women. They were giving out tickets for games this week, goodie bags, signing autographs, making a whole bunch of new friends. All part of the Braves' month-long thank you for their service. And it wraps up with huge festivities here on Memorial Day. As Chip and Joe, you will recall, it can only be described as one big party. Back to you guys.
And that's awesome. Congratulations to the Braves Community Affairs Department for their great work. And we salute our friends at Dobbins Air Force Base right up the street here from SunTrust Park here in Atlanta. Matt Whistler leads off the 5th inning. Whistler, Albies, and Acuna are coming up. No score. Braves and Marlins, game 1 of the weekend.
Straley got out of a huge jam last inning. 2nd and 3rd, no outs, bases loaded, 1 out, no runs.
Line to Bohr at first base. And Matt hit it hard, but he's retired, 1 out, and back to the top of the order. Runs been tough to come by for the Braves. Cubs beat them 3-2 the other night. Braves had 1 run until Acuna's 8th inning home run. Braves had 1 run until the 8th inning in game 2 against the Cubs. Rained out yesterday, and tonight nothing through 4. And another line drive to first. Straley's got that play down. And Albies is 0 for 2.
It's going to be awfully difficult to sustain offensively what they had done the first 6 weeks of the season. It was inevitable that 1 or 2 guys would begin to cool off. The top of the order is still, in my opinion, doing great work. I remember early in the season you were talking about how the bottom of the order is feeding the top. That hasn't been happening quite as much.
Let's see what Acuna can do. He's hit the ball right on the button to straightaway center twice. Wind has picked up quite a bit, blowing from left to right. And that skips up there for an even count. Maybe Acuna's saving his best for the 8th inning. He's got back-to-back games with the go-ahead RBI in the 8th inning. Those came against the Cubs.
I just soon he not wait.
I'm with you. He tried to launch one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Straley gave the Braves fits down in Miami, allowing just 3 hits. He's allowed only 3 tonight and no runs. And he's got to feel like the king of the hill, as you said, getting out of a bases loaded mess last inning. The 2-2 pitch is caught on and missed. Acuna is down on strikes, and Straley breezes through inning number 5. Good ball game in Atlanta. No score.
To take the mound for the Braves. And if you heard Chip earlier, you heard him talk about the crazy travel day the Yankees had. Well, Matt Whistler has had a crazy 24 hours too. So he played in Toledo with Gwinnett last night, was at that game, woke up, had to be at the Detroit airport for an 11 a.m. flight. Well, that flight was delayed for an hour and a half. He didn't take off until 12:15, didn't land until 2:30, and then he had to get all the way from the airport to SunTrust Park. And Joe, I heard you mention it earlier, before that Mets start, you thought it was almost better that he didn't even have time to think about it. Maybe that's the case here tonight.
I think it is, Kelsey. I really do. I think that when he doesn't have a lot of time to think about it, stress about it, worry about it, just go out and pitch, he's at his best.
And he got a 2-hour nap in the cab ride to the ballpark with
sure.
Friday traffic here in Atlanta. I mean, come on.
That's right.
How tough is this?
Friday follies.
Yeah.
That's great.
2 quick strikes to Dan Straley, who whiffed in the 3rd inning.
I think in some ways what I said makes it sound like Matt overthinks it, or maybe, you know, worries too much about how he's doing, what he's doing. But my point is that his stuff is good enough that he doesn't have to think and overthink it. You know, use it, be aggressive. There are going to be games where you don't have it and you can't throw the ball where you want to, and it's going to get hit, or you're going to walk some guys. But make those a rarity instead of commonplace. And he's got it.
Well, and the great thing about a start like this is, as effectively as he has pitched, if the Braves are going to go through this season and, as I said earlier, give starters an extra day of rest, pitches like this, I would imagine he'd be the first name in the Rolodex.
Yes.
And that's the only thing he can control. And he's pitching great. At the top of the order coming up now, Martin Prado, who's 0 for 2. A strikeout and a flyout for Prado, who's making his SunTrust Park debut with the Marlins tonight. And a beauty. 1-1.
Yes, he did.
And he knew it.
Couple of good sliders.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one served into right field. A Martin Prado textbook hit.
That was a Martin Prado textbook at bat. Slider for a strike, slider for a check swing strike. They tried to go a little bit wider, and he didn't let him. Got that foot down, ready to guard the plate, and it just had enough of the plate for him to get good wood on it.
Well, he is going to be so good for the Marlins this year in that locker room, in that clubhouse, with all the young players they're going to have coming through their clubhouse doors this year. Prado with a base hit in front of Real Muto, who's walked and tapped back to the mound. Real Muto, Castro, and Bohr potentially coming up. Matt would love a ground ball at someone here. The Braves have already turned a double play behind him tonight. Instead, he gets a fly ball to center. It's deep. Ender on the run, still going. He can't get it. It's off the wall, and it ricochets back toward the infield. Prado's around third. He's going to score. And look at Real Muto flying to third base with a stand-up triple. Braves fortunate that ball didn't leave the ballpark. It was smoked. And the Marlins strike first on a Real Muto triple, his first of the year.
It's one of the few times you'll see Ender make a mistake on going after a ball. Normally his range allows him to get right to the wall, crash into the wall to try to catch one. This one he realized too late that he wasn't going to get to it, and now he's got to chase the ball back off the wall. Trying to block it coming off, he couldn't, and it cost him dearly.
So now Atlanta's infield will come in with Starlin Castro up there. Castro is struck out and flied out. So Prado single on a 1-2 pitch. Real Muto triples to center. And Miami has drawn first blood here in game 1. That's looped over first, and that's down for a run scoring hit. Castro around first. He's on his way to second. So 3 straight Miami hits makes it a 2-0 game. Castro's 20th RBI.
And that's going to do it for Whistler. Just fought it off, dumped it out behind first to make it 2-0. Not a bad pitch, just bad luck.
But Matt's pitched a good ball game tonight. He trails by 2. Castro his responsibility, and the Braves are in the bullpen.
Michael Conforto's first RBI single of the night with the Mets up on the D-backs 2-0. His second made it a 3-0 score. Arizona did get one back, but that may be all they get. Jacob deGrom has struck out 13 through 7. It's 3-1. Mets on top, fellas.
Yeah, Jerome, I'd say that Mr. deGrom is back and healthy.
Yeah, remember, he threw 45 pitches in his first inning back from the DL and got pulled from that game, and everybody in Met Nation held their breath. Well, he's back with a vengeance.
So is this guy. His last outing, 2 1/3 innings of zeros across baseball against the Cubs. He also picked up a save against Miami down there with 3 innings of 1-run baseball. Gave up a home run to Brinson's, the only run he allowed in 3 innings.
Justin Bohr swung at the first pitch and popped it into shallow right. Foul ground, wind pushing that. But Ozzie stayed with it, made the play. And Gohara retires his first batter faced. That's a big out. Miami leads 2-0. 3 straight hits off Matt Whistler. And that brings up Brian Anderson.
And the shift played a part in that out. If they don't have Ozzie playing in shallow right field, that's no man's land for a foul ball. Nobody gets to it. See where he was positioned, made it easy for him to glide over and get that.
So here's Anderson. He's singled and he's bounced into a force play. Miami with 2 runs on 5 hits tonight. And high and tight for Anderson. 1 ball, no strikes. In the home 6th, Atlanta will have Freddie Freeman leading off. Nick Markakis and Tyler Flowers. Almost hit him.
Well, stop the bleeding. Hold him right there at 2 runs. Good pitch.
He's got 4 of them, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he's excited about pitching again. You know, he's seems to be coming out of the offseason depression, I'll call it. I don't know that he was depressed, but lost his father and was in a real bad way, understandably. Then injured on 2 different occasions in spring training that delayed his arrival in the big leagues.
And that might have carried over into his minor league appearances this year. He just wasn't the same guy that opened so many eyes last year for Atlanta. But for now, pitching out of the bullpen, piggybacking with Matt Whistler tonight. Ultimately, Gohara will be a starting pitcher. That's the goal for Atlanta. That just missed inside. Pretty good pitch. Full count.
Don't give in here. Got a left-handed hitter on deck. A little inside.
Lifted toward left. Acuna on the run is there. He ran to a spot and made the catch to retire the side. Nice work by Gohara. Braves are coming up with 3, 4, and 5 down 2-0. play of the game. This is what Atlanta's done over the last week plus. Very impressive work. But so far tonight, Dan Straley is doing to the Braves what he did to them down in Miami, making it tough. Not a lot of hard contact. He's given up just 3 hits. 2 of the 3 hits are held by Nick Markakis, who waits on deck. Braves had a golden chance to score in the 4th, as I said, as Bohr handles that one awkwardly, kicks it, picks it, and steps on the bag and makes the play for the first out.
Hot potato.
2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Flowers popped out. They walked in CRT intentionally. Bautista struck out. Camargo lined out, and that was it. Straley set down 6 men in a row. He hasn't gotten Markakis yet. Nick has a single and a double.
Had to really pump him up to get out of that jam.
Again, he knows how to pitch.
Yep.
And the key word there, pitch. Got a good enough fastball. But for whatever reason, the Braves have not seen him well yet this year. One ball, one strike. Hope a little fatigue sets in for Straley. Nobody up in their pen. He does lead 2-0. 5 innings, I believe, his longest outing of the year. That came in his last one against the Braves. Threw 102 pitches in those 5 innings. He threw 75 through 5 innings tonight. 2-2 pitch. And a bouncer towards second. And a throw to first in plenty of time. Braves are wearing out the right side of the Marlins infield.
Like he might have cut that fastball a little bit. That moved in on Nick's hands a little, fought it off. Key sequence in that inning in which the Braves left the bases loaded was 2nd, 3rd, nobody out. And it looked like for sure Tyler Flowers had walked to load him up. And they called it a strike, and then he popped up the next pitch.
And this one's popped up. Straley gives chase. Realmuto over to the screen as well, and he makes the catch. A snow cone grab, and yes, what a play. Man, oh man, the Braves the last 2+ innings have been very aggressive and have had no luck. Brian Snitker's going to ask if that ball was up against the screen. They might take a look at this. But right off the end of the mitt, and it's held on to end the inning. challenge this call because JT Realmuto caught the ball right at the end of his catcher's mitt, and then almost simultaneously his momentum carried him into the net.
Yeah, I think the question is whether or not after he had it in his glove, did the net right there hold it in his glove for him? I think it's clear that he caught the ball before the ball hit the net, but the net certainly played a part in him hanging on to it. We'll see how they rule it. And we're still waiting. And there's no catch.
So I guess the netting is what kept the ball in the glove of Realmuto. And Don Mattingly wants to know what the explanation is. Did Realmuto have enough control of the baseball before the ball hit the net? Is, I'm assuming, what the question is. And in Don Mattingly's mind, what constitutes a catch?
Well, a good challenge by the Braves. Still have the inning alive. Just looked like the ball was moving after he caught it and then stopped moving when it hit the net. He did a good sell job, but didn't get the call.
So the net effect, if you will, is that Tyler gets to swing the bat again. Straley's thrown 18 pitches to get the last 5 outs. So it's no balls and a strike for Tyler, who is 0 for 2 in tonight's game. 7 up, 7 down for Straley. The pitch. And that missed for an even count. Call is overturned. Clear and convincing evidence that the call on the field was incorrect is the official ruling. So Braves still have their challenge left. Pitch. Some guys walking around in the Marlins pen, but nobody's throwing. Why would they? Straley's got a 3-hit shutout working. And back into the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You said earlier that his fastball is good enough, Chip, and that's a good description. He's been around 90, 91 most of the night. If he wanted to really hump up and fire one, he could probably get it to 92. But it's about how he uses it, where he places it, how he uses it in different counts. It plays.
Fly ball toward Brinson in right center. The wind pushing that away from him, and onto the warning track he goes to make the grab, and that retires the side. 8 up, 8 down for the Miami right-hander. He leads 2-0 in game 1. Tweet us at Fox Sports Braves using the hashtag Braves Surprise, and your tweet could be read on the Braves Live post-game show. Quiet night for the Braves bats tonight. No runs, 3 hits. Miami got 2 runs in their last at bat against Matt Whistler. Luis Gohara is on to pitch his first full frame as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Derek Dietrich, Rojas, and Brinson are coming up.
It's like somebody might begin to get loosened up in the Marlins bullpen just in case Straley runs into trouble in the bottom of the 7th.
Dietrich's popped up twice, once to short, once to second. And that's upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. This one's popped up behind third and in foul ground. Bautista couldn't get there. It's too deep into the dugout. And the count of ball and a strike.
I think that wind's pushing some balls back toward the right field line, I'll say. It certainly was a part on Tyler's fly ball. Saw the action in their bullpen.
1-1 pitch to Derek Dietrich, who I'll bet you didn't know. A little known fact about this guy: his favorite colors are black and blue. He's been hit by 78 pitches in his big league career, including 6 this year. With that one, 3 balls and a strike. Can't give him any more. A single, a triple, and a double in quick order last inning puts Miami in front.
Got that 3-1 breaking pitch.
Pretty snazzy. And he came back to get Dietrich. That's impressive. 3 up, 3 down for Gohara. That's his first strikeout.
Back-to-back breaking balls. Good ones.
Even when Matt Whistler was in, Joe, it didn't look like the Marlins had good swings against the breaking ball tonight.
No, they didn't.
Matt with 5 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings. Miguel Rojas has walked. He's hit into a double play, and he's been thrown out trying to steal. One of Gohara's best fastballs at 95 miles an hour. Braves missed John Lester last night after the rainout. John Lester's pitching for the Cubs in Cincinnati, and he's got a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, there was not much good about the rainout except you didn't have to see John Lester.
So you're welcome, Cincinnati. Go
Yeah.
get them. Reds are playing a lot better compared to how their season began. Reds have won 7 of 9 and are coming off a 5-2 Western trip. So Jim Riggleman has been playing real respectable ball right now as he took over for Brian Price, the first manager relieved of his duties this year. Mets are still leading their game tonight. They got some more bad news tonight. Not only are Cespedes and Frazier on the DL, but Juan Lagares hyperextended his toe and tore a ligament in his toe, and he's out for the year.
What?
Yeah. Two-two pitch.
That's a new one. Broken toe. You bet I get it. Foul ball off the toe. I get it. Hyperextended toe.
How do you do that?
Torn ligament.
Yeah.
Is he playing in flip-flops?
I don't know. I don't know. The 3-2 pitch is banged toward third. Batista charges, throws on the run, made a good play, and Rojas retired. 2 outs. And here's Brinson. Brinson's 0 for 2. I would assume, Joe, in the case of Brinson, it would be baby steps for him and for the Marlins in this rebuilding year. First, cut down on the strikeouts, put the ball in play, and then.
Yeah, he was a first-round draft pick by the Rangers, late first round.
That ball's hit hard to right.
He's got a lot of athletic ability. They're just going to have to be patient with him, I think.
5 up, 5 down for Gohara. 2-0 Miami the lead. It's time for the stretch. Let's send it to Kelsey Wingert.
Well, thank you, Chip. Like he mentioned, it is time for the stretch. And we all know Dansby Swanson is a hometown boy. He is here from Atlanta, and he loves Atlanta. So much so that he found a new way this season to spotlight our city in a different way. So there are 14 Friday night home games this season. And every single one of those days, he's going to have a themed video that's released about spotlighting an area in Atlanta. There's also going to be a T-shirt that he helped design that will be released that you can buy online. So when I asked him, why are you doing this? He said he's looking to inspire people to love the city, and he wants people to make an impact on others around him. So each week, the T-shirt that was inspired by Dansby will go on sale. And for every shirt sold, Dansby's going to donate some of the money, and that fund will go towards performing random acts of kindness around Atlanta. You see him there. Just yesterday, he went to the varsity and helped serve some food. Well, today he decided to sponsor a varsity catering truck before the game. It was outside of the third base gate, so any Braves fans that came in through that gate, they were able to go and get a free hot dog. There were 900 hot dogs before the game today. A really cool thing that Dansby's doing. He just loves this city so much, Chip and Joe. And this season, he really just wanted to do something unique. The T-shirts are on sale just for that weekend when they are released at allthingsloyal.com. That is what this thing is called, ATL, All Things Loyal. So kudos to Dansby for coming up with a unique and cool way to inspire Atlanta.
Great stuff, Kelsey. What do you have, Chip?
That's what I was going to ask. You think Dansby said, what do you have? Or did he say?
I hope he did.
Or did he say, how are you? I'm Dansby. Welcome to the varsity. That would kind of spoil the whole experience, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Boy, those dogs look good, too.
Well, I'm going to have one myself just to celebrate.
All right.
The great effort by Dansby Swanson.
That's a wiener.
Well, here we go. 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. This has been a lot of fun for Atlanta this year. Braves have scored 76 runs from the 7th inning on. And they're running out of time against Dan Straley, but still a very manageable game. It's only 2-0. But Straley has set down 8 straight, and he's got a 3-hitter working.
Braves part of the game, though. 7th, 8th, and 9th. Got to get something cranking. They've got some activity in their bullpen to back him up. Guerrero was throwing. Now they've got someone else throwing.
And that's fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, Straley's giving the Marlins a real lift. Their last 10 games, their starting pitchers have given up 35 runs in 47 innings and had lost 5 of 6 decisions. Ender tried to bunt and missed it. And now he's down to his last strike.
Yeah, the road ERA, the worst in baseball.
Yeah, it's
7.
Double what they'd pitch at home, right?
Correct.
So to quote the great Dennis Eckersley, yuck.
That's Whitgren loosening up. He's been real good for them. 2
balls, 2 strikes. And And that one's tipped into the glove of Real Muto. Ender didn't get it. He strikes out for the second time. And Straley is pitching a masterpiece. 9 up, 9 down.
That's very similar to the pitch he struck Inciarte out on in the second inning. Hard away. Not the basketball player.
Bautista was the key man in the Braves' fourth inning when they had the bases loaded, 1 out. And he struck out swinging. And this one's grounded toward short. Long throw and a scoop by Bohr, who held the bag. Pretty play, 2 outs. Nice play by Rojas to get Jose Bautista, and Straley set down 10 straight. And he's not having to throw many pitches during this run.
Yeah, we've seen Rojas make some good plays for them at shortstop. Got a little help over there from Bohr. Nice play by him. Rojas has got some good range.
Camargo's 1 for 2. That second inning hit was a single. He tried to stretch it into a double. He had the play beaten, but he came off the bag. Rojas kept the tag on, and after a video replay, Camargo was properly called out. So he and Nick Markakis the sum total of the Atlanta offense so far tonight. Preston Tucker's grabbed a bat. He's on deck. If Camargo could reach, Tucker's got pop. He could tie it up with 1 swing. But nothing straight from Straley at this point.
No, sir. A couple of off-speed pitches that were very good.
And as well as he's pitching, he is not wasting any time getting his sign and getting back to work. He is in great rhythm right now. This will be Straley's last inning. He's due first in the 8th inning. And now the 2-2 pitch. And pops away from Real Muto, and now he's going to make the biggest pitch of the game, perhaps, for Miami.
And it might be his last pitch no matter what, if he walks him. I can't see him giving in here, but maybe trying to do the same thing he did to Inciarte and just go with that fastball away. And one in instead.
And it's lined toward right, but Anderson to his right is there. And Straley has set down 11 consecutive hitters, 98 pitches, and a 3-hit shutout. call early this morning to make your way to Atlanta for a matchup with Dan Straley. And for a while, back through 5 innings, it was a 0-0 game. But then the Braves had a chance. Second, third, nobody out, could not score. Miami broke through in the 6th with a single, a triple, and a double. That chased Whistler. And that's been more than enough for Dan Straley, who's gone 7 innings of 3-hit ball. And he's retired 11 consecutive hitters. Cameron Maybin is announced as a pinch hitter. And with that, Luis Gohara is going to be taken down. The Braves will go to their bullpen and bring on Peter Moylan. 2-0. Miami has the lead here in the 8th.
Marlins versus Braves from SunTrust Park, presented by Kaiser Permanente.
Moylan versus Maybin as Miami goes to work in the top of the 8th inning, and Cameron didn't get it. A swing and a miss.
How about Peter's been going through withdrawals? He's been in a lot of games, but none in the last 6 days. The last time he pitched was against Miami down there.
So hopefully his stuff will be crisp and sharp. He's gotten ahead of Maybin quickly. No balls, 2 strikes. Maybin's 5 for 18 after not starting a game for the Marlins this year. His second go round with the Miami organization. He played for the Marlins 2008, 2009, and 2010. Wow, that went behind Maybin.
Yeah.
And then on the ricochet went right through the legs of Jerry Meals on the way back toward the center of the diamond. And even Cameron's laughing about it. Watch. Whoop. Peter, a masterful croquet player when he's not working out of a major league bullpen. The 1-2 pitch. And he got him to swing and miss for out number 1. Well, Gohara and Moylan have seen 6 Miami hitters. They've retired them all. Now Prado, the batter, he got the Miami 6th inning rally started with a base hit on a 1-2 pitch. Braves trying to get him to chase outside, and he just went with it and hit it to right. Realmuto then tripled off the center field wall. And then Starlin Castro with a bloop double made it 2-0, and that is where we stand. Mets did win tonight. They just beat Arizona by a 3-1 score. Later on, Colorado plays in San Francisco tonight. Brandon Belt on a tear. He's homered in 4 straight games.
Well, I'm glad to hear that somebody for them is doing something after they left Atlanta.
Rockies without DJ LeMahieu, who has a broken left thumb. A bad break for the Rockies, and Moylan, after he struck out Maben, then issued a 4-pitch walk to Prado. So this is the combo that got things going for the Marlins back in the 6th. Prado at first, Real Muto in the box. The Cardinals and Phillies are still trying to play in St. Louis tonight. They've had horrible thunder showers all up and down the Midwest tonight. Word is they're going to try to start any minute if they haven't started already. Good matchup in St. Louis. Jake Arrieta and Michael Wacha.
Well, you'd want that game to be played if you're a fan. Sam Freeman getting ready in a hurry.
1 ball, no strikes for Real Muto. Prado a good lead, and the pitch is banged back to the mound. Peters got it. Second base for 1. Ozzie made sure he had it. Double play, and that is the Peter Moylan we have known and loved. A strikeout, a sinker, a double play ball, and the Braves are coming up in the home 8th. Pitcher's spot, then the top of the order. Down only 2. Maben will stay in to play left field. Derek Dietrich is done, and on to pitch is Kyle Barraclaw, who can retire hitters 2 at a time. That's how good he can be. He's 0-2, however, but a sparkling ERA in relief.
Well, he's just got nasty stuff. Talked about him down in Miami as throwing a heavy sinker, a hard, heavy sinker. He can rush it up there as high as 96 with a slider, and sometimes you'll fire a change up. Hard to elevate him.
And he pitched 2 scoreless innings against the Braves down in Miami. The only base runner Atlanta had was a walk on May 13th. And he'll face Preston Tucker leading off. Wind really starting to whip up here atop Windy Hill Road in Atlanta. Braves need a base runner or 2 and then somebody to pop one. And the 8th inning's been a magical one for Acuna. Perhaps tonight will be his night again. Ronald's due up 3rd. The pitch is bounced towards second into the shift. And And the throw to first takes care of Tucker. One man down. That's 12 up, 12 down for the Atlanta offense. Ender Inciarte, the last man to reach, and that was on an intentional walk, which for Don Mattingly was the biggest and gutsiest call of this game. Second and third, one out. He walks Inciarte with Bautista and Camargo coming up in a tie game, and Straley made him look like a genius. And the Braves have not threatened since. So Ozzie Albies the batter. He walked to start the game. Braves got him to second base with 2 outs, but he was left stranded. Atlanta has left 5 on base. No balls and a strike.
Good slider there.
0-2, you bet.
94 to 79.
Claw, originally a Cardinal farmhand. He came over from St. Louis for Steve Cishek at the deadline in 2015.
Boy, would they like to have him back. He'd probably be their closer.
Well, they may have a shot at getting him. Claw, I would think, would be a very valuable commodity. Whitgren, too. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And up and away, 2-2. Hopefully Ozzie can get to first base and shake hands with Eric Young. Today's a special day for EY. I'll tell you about that in a moment. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And popped out of play. Eric has his son with him here at the ballpark. It's also EY's 51st birthday today. So many happy returns. EY?
51. I remember 51.
You're not the only one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Ozzie digs in and bangs another one to first. Boy, the Braves are going to have to send Justin Bohr a new first baseman's mitt. 2 outs, 13 up, 13 down. Here's Ronald Acuna. He's our Yellowwood bringing the lumber feature.
Last 4 games, a home run, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Clutch base hit through a drawn-in infield against the Cubs the other night. And boy, was he excited. It's fun to see.
There's a stat for everything in the game now, and with the ability of computers to go back and check all the box scores and records in the sport, you can find superlatives for just about every possible thing that happens on a baseball field. But Ronald, with those 2 big hits in the 8th inning in back-to-back games, at the age of 20 years, 149 days old, was the youngest big leaguer in the last 60 years with go-ahead RBIs in the 8th inning or later in back-to-back games.
How would you like to look that up?
No, I'm good. Right?
Good having somebody provide that for you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Two balls and a strike. Lifted toward right. Wind's pushing it. Push it some more. Anderson won't get there. What I want to know is, who enters all the stuff that you find on a Google search? Right?
Yeah.
You type in number 2 yellow pencil. And somebody's got to enter that data somewhere.
Yeah, somebody did that last Thursday, so they were ahead of the game.
Right. But how do they do that?
I don't know.
Certainly changed our world in the baseball business. The 2-2 pitch. A broken bat roller toward short. Rojas had better hurry. Close play, and they got him. A bang, bang play at first. Acuna says, check it out. This is a big call. If he beat it, the Braves bring the potential tying run to the plate.
He had a little lunge at the bag right at the end. long stride. Oh, what do you think?
I think you got to challenge it no matter what.
Absolutely. That last stride was a long one. Yeah, I think he did. Watching it on the big screen. Your screen there a little bit on Bohr's glove, and when the ball actually went into the glove, this is the revealing spot right here. Foot down, ball not quite into the pocket of the glove.
That's as close as you can get. And so now we wait for the outcome of this call. It appeared that the ball was within the confines of the glove, but had not hit the webbing of the glove when Acuña's foot hit the bag. So the verdict is in. He is out. So I just, you know,
it is just amazing. I don't know who they are in New York, and I don't want to know.
We won't Google that, I can promise you.
Golly.
SunTrust Park, presented by Kaiser Permanente.
Beautiful night in Atlanta, with the exception of the score. Miami has 2 runs. The Braves have 3 hits. That's a lead in the wrong column, as it were.
Yeah.
And we go to the 9th inning with Freeman coming on. Sam will pitch to Castro, Bohr, and Anderson for the Marlins.
A lot of games for Sam. Left-hander's not doing anything against him. Great ERA. That last play at first base would have been one of those examples of what you've been talking about, Chip, and some other guys too. Heard Dave O'Brien, beat writer for the AJC, talking about this a couple of days ago too, that the guys in New York should be submitted the replay without knowledge of what the call was, and not show the umpire making the call in the frame of the out or safe play.
And I'm not aware of what angles they get. I don't know if they just get TV feeds as Castro has a base hit to lead off the 9th, or if there are in-house camera angles that go straight to review that we don't have on our air, or the Marlins have as well. And if they are using the television feeds, I think, Joe, one thing that makes it so problematic on those close calls, and again, I'm not blaming the umpires on the field. They're kind of in the no man's or the no-win situation here because of what they see on the board and what the fans think. They're the ones that get booed, not the anonymous umpire sitting in replay center. First, Justin Bohr, the batter. But there is technology that exists that I think would take away a lot of this frustration that so many people have with
what we were given as the reason that call wasn't changed. Not enough evidence, not enough clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call on the field.
Well, I want to stop you there.
Popped up. Flowers doesn't need the net to make the play. It's in his glove safely, 1 out.
Whatever the technology is that's available, there shouldn't be a play that couldn't be overturned or changed because of insufficient evidence. Make a call without knowing what the call was.
Correct. And to your point, without the replay people knowing what the call is.
I'm not talking about all the other 360 availability and all that stuff for cameras. I'm talking about just don't show the call, don't let them know what the call was, and then make a judgment.
And I'd be on board with that. I have no problem with that. As Anderson hits. Are you then worried that the primacy of the game is not determined by the guys actually umpiring the game here, but are actually being judged by or confirmed or denied by somebody 2,000 miles away?
The whole premise of replay was to supposedly get the play right. And if the umpires on site make a close call and then are overturned, they've got to understand that the guys in New York had 4 or 5 replay machines looking at it. They had the opportunity to slow it down, which on site you don't have. They got to understand that. They could have missed it.
And even with us looking at replay slow motion 3 or 4 times after the play was called live, we still weren't sure, right?
I don't know about that. I know we were the other night at home plate. We were at third base, and I thought he was safe tonight at first. I just wish they didn't already know what the call was.
Well, maybe that's something that'll change in the years to come as Anderson digs in and hits a double play ball to Albies. Camargo across the bag. Nice play. And in time to retire the side. So last call for Atlanta. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Right guys at the right time. Freeman, Markakis, and Flowers down 2. Advance Auto Parts.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
Freddie Freeman will lead off for Atlanta. Nick Markakis and Tyler Flowers and hopefully others to follow as the Braves try to get something going against Brad Ziegler. High ERA, Joe, but he is 7 for 7 in saves.
0-3 on the year, though. He's sucked up some losses with that high ERA. Only a couple of walks. He's around the plate. He's also given up 3 homers.
Braves need a bloop and a blast to tie it up. And the first from Ziegler missed downstairs, ball 1. Freddie's 3 for 8 against the side-wheeling Miami relief pitcher. That's a .375 average. And that one smoked on a short hop to the shortstop. Nice pick and a perfect throw. 1 out.
No shift on. That's a base hit earlier tonight. And that's Rivera at shortstop now, and he took the short hop, made a nice play. With the sinker baller, they had him played perfectly.
And Rojas moves from short to first. And that was a pretty play for the first out. Braves hitters have been retired in order, 15 for 15. The last Braves base runner was an intentional walk for Ender Inciarte. That was in the 4th inning. Nick Markakis is 2 for 3. He has 2 of Atlanta's 3 safeties tonight. And he just took a strike. Braves have not been shut out at home. In fact, the high-flying Atlanta offense has only been shut out once this year. Miami was blanked yesterday by the Dodgers 7-0. The 6th time their offense has been held without a run. One pitch. Way outside. Ball 2. Ziegler's 38 years old. He'll be 39 on May 31st. And a shot into center. A base hit from Markakis, his 3rd hit. So Nick's done his part. Let's see if somebody else can get in on the fun.
You can see what these Braves hitters are doing here. The first 2, Freddie and Markakis, in that they're just trying to stay locked in on him and not pull off the ball and hit a ground ball like he wants them to do. Freddie hits it the other way. Nick hits it up the middle.
And I would assume that's easier for a left-handed hitter to do than a right-hander with Ziegler.
Certainly is, because he'll throw more sliders to Tyler and the other right-handers. His fastball's not that hard. Not like Steve Cishek, who can break it up over 90, a little more sidearm. This guy's more 83 to 86, somewhere in that range.
1 ball, no strikes for Flowers. Braves have 2 outs left. And they're down 2-0. Ziegler's had a long career. He broke in with Oakland in 2008. He's pitched for the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, and now in his 2nd year with the Marlins, where he saved 16 games last year. The 1-1. Got it there for a called strike.
16 saves, pretty good last year, since he wasn't their closer. Ramos was before, and he became the closer after Ramos got traded. That was a little low for Tyler's liking, but called a strike anyway.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Trying to get him to chase that ball tantalizingly close to the outside corner.
You see Tyler go down. I mean, he almost had an eyeball look at it as it went by.
He was going to make sure that was off the plate. Yeah. And it was close, but low. So 2-2 the count. Double play ball to second. There's 1. There's 2, and the Marlins have shut out the Braves 2-0 to win game 1 of this series. Miami's pitching tonight was absolutely outstanding. Straley with 7 innings of 3-hit shutout ball. Barraclough and Ziegler shut the door, and Joe, what could have been in the 4th inning for Atlanta, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. The Braves couldn't score to support Matt Whistler.
Lately, nobody would have thought that that was the only big opportunity they were going to have, but when you get set down 17 or 15 in a row before the hit, hard to rally back.
So Atlanta falls into a first-place tie with the Phillies pending the outcome of their game in St. Louis. That one's scoreless in the Gateway City. Miami wins in Atlanta tonight. We'll recap it for you on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. It's coming right up.